Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you'd already know that the title of tonight's show is Pulling Away. And the reason why that title implies that there's a withdrawal of some sort going on is because actually October is an unusual month because there are 2 full moons and there's also a new moon. In other words, there's going to be a lot of light in the sky in October, and that simply means you are going to get a lot of answers to things. You're going to be able to see things that had been hidden before. Won't that be interesting? And that starts with today. And that's because today, October 1st, there is a full moon at 9 degrees of Aries. And Aries represents new starts. So you'd think that under a full moon, a person could see a very bright new start somewhere in their lives. Well, maybe that's possible. But I think since the title is called Pulling Away, I think instead, because the full moon in Aries is rather harshly aspected, there can be people that are pulling back from a new beginning. And that is because the sun, and we know under a full moon that the moon opposes the sun. So the sun is at 9 degrees of Libra, which rules the law and partnership and peace. And it is opposing that full moon in Aries, also at 9 degrees. And Mars, the ruler of Aries, is there as well, and it is retrograde. And so these 3 planets are opposing each other, which can indicate legal questions or indecision and confusion. That's what happens anytime that the lights are opposing or squaring each other. But there are stronger forces than that going on, because there are 3 powerhouse planets in Capricorn: Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter in Capricorn. By Monday, all 3 planets will be direct. Jupiter and Saturn are already direct. And they are all being trined by that Uranus in Aries. And they are squaring the full moon and Mars in Aries. In fact, Saturn is exactly at 25 degrees of Capricorn. Mars is at 25 degrees of Aries. Those are malefic planets that can get you in trouble. And they are in very harsh aspect to each other, but they are at home in the signs they rule. So there can be a new beginning right now that possibly we can all see in one way or another. And it can be very popular. And the reason why is that full moon and Mars in Aries are being trined beautifully by Venus in Leo. In fact, Venus is at 28 degrees of Leo and Mars is at 25 degrees of Aries. So that's a pretty close trine. So that's very fortunate. It means that a new beginning can be very popular and can be trying to move forward. But it is certainly being challenged by those 3 planets in Capricorn, and it is being opposed by that sun in Libra. So since the strength is actually in the earth signs, because there are 4 planets in earth signs and they're all trining each other, which makes them very powerful, it simply means that strong forces right now can help you with your business plans. That's possible right now. But the people that are involved in those business plans may be people that have a lot of experience, and therefore they can have very high standards, and they would want people who are involved in a new beginning to meet those standards. And the question is, are they going to be able to meet those standards? And so I think the problem right now is that people who do want to succeed may not want to take a chance on a new beginning right now because it has lost ground and it can't make that up. In other words, in one way or another, it has lost ground. And because it can't make it up, there are going to be stronger, very practical people that are going to say, well, let's move on. They don't meet our high standards. And so that's why they're pulling back right now. Well, if you are a small business, or if you're thinking of starting a small business, what can you do against bigger competition right now? Well, one thing you can do, particularly if you're a person that likes to take risks, you can remember that the full moon and Mars are trining Venus in Leo. And so those are planets in fire signs, and fire signs love to take action. So your answer to that, to some sort of a stall in a new beginning, or if you're involved in something that has lost ground, you may be thinking, well, I don't mind taking risks. I'll go ahead and I'll be more aggressive. I'll be more strident. And so it is possible that people who enjoy taking risks will go forward and become a lot more aggressive right now. I urge them not to do that, but that trine in fire signs is going to hold, at least for now. And so there is the possibility that they will invoke, or the result will be nasty legal problems that they will have to face, because remember that Sun in Libra is opposing the Moon and Mars in Aries. Or they can be facing much higher expenses if they just plow forward right now and become more aggressive, because all of that costs money, and they may be held accountable even more so than before, because a new beginning is losing ground. And for that reason, solid supporters are going to pull back, and that's the way it's going to be. So if you are a business that still wants to sort of stay in business, or you're a brand new entrepreneur, what you can do instead is take advantage of the fact that that Sun in Libra is trining. That Sun in Libra indicates partnership and peace and cooperation and compromise. So you may want to join forces with some other group that is also small, because if the two of you join forces, you might be able to cut your costs in half, but you might be able to double your customer base at the same time, and it doesn't even have to be permanent. You could just go ahead and think of it as trying something out. And so that's how you could succeed, because in the end, I think that very strong, silent captains of industry or heads of governments are willing to put their differences aside or overlook a few problems in order to forge a path toward greater prosperity and security. And as all three planets go direct, remember they'll all, in Capricorn, they'll all be direct by Monday. That is the direction I think real sensible people who have a lot of experience are going to take. And so that's what you should watch out for, is they could be pulling away for a good reason, because there's no future in something that is a popular new beginning that has lost ground. But there is a future in business, and they are thinking that even if you're small, you could grow right now. It's just you may have to join forces in order to do it. Okay, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, I think that you can be very popular. There's no disputing that. In other words, you have a lot of ardent backers, or you could be sort of the star of your own special circle of friends. That's great. But that isn't going to be enough, Aries, to further your career. And the reason why is there's too much going against your sun sign right now. And the reason why is that even though Venus in Leo is trining your sun sign, which does make you very popular right now, so you could have a lot of fun right now if you wanted to. But still, the Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in Capricorn are squaring your sun sign, and Saturn is exactly squaring Mars in your sun sign along with the full moon. And the sun in Libra is also opposing your sun sign. I think that you really need to use your friendships right now and your popularity to your advantage, Aries. And that means you need to get the word out about whatever else is out there that could be of interest to you. You could let people know you're interested in moving on, because I think that your career can be very threatened right now. And that is because there are other people around that are making decisions. They could be your boss or your boss's boss, or it can simply be that business conditions have changed, and that would change budgets, and that would change staffing, and that could certainly threaten you. So you need to move on. And you're so good at making new beginnings, Aries. This is the time, with the help of your popular friends, when you could really do that. So if I were you, I wouldn't stick around with something that is maybe a sinking ship. Right now, I'd move forward in a new direction while you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is a wonderful time for you to have your mind on business or your career or your long-term interests. And that's because you might be in a position to see what years and years of work have earned for you. You could be particularly by next week when all 3 planets in Capricorn are direct, because they're trining your sun, you could see the results coming, and very pleasing results, from a retirement plan or a pension plan or just a savings account that you've had for quite a long time. I think that you are in a position to certainly benefit from that, Taurus, which would be great. If you are thinking of doing something with a lump sum of money that you may have around, in other words, if you sell an investment and suddenly you've got the cash sitting there, I would urge you to wait 1 more week. In other words, don't do anything this week. Wait until Venus goes into Virgo, which is just about to do, because it's your ruler and it's going to be trining your sun. And there's a lot of contention and indecision under today's full moon. So I'd sit on the fence. Even if you have a nice little stockpile to sit on, I wouldn't do too much with it right now, Taurus. Just bide your time, because this is going to be a year when you could experience quite a nice payoff in one way or another. And I just urge you not to do anything about that right now, but wait a little bit until conditions are more favorable. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Gemini, this is a time when I think that you really need to sort of understand that you don't need to do much, but you can be very attractive to other people that may want to become a partner of yours. And the reason why is because the sun is in Libra, and that's an air sign. It rules love and marriage, peace and partnership, the law and all legal contracts and treaties and truces and diplomacy and compromise and negotiation. Well, somebody who really does know what they're doing could be headed your way, Gemini, with a very good idea. And if not, they could simply want to join your team or collaborate with you in one way or another, or help you get the word out. Your sign does rule advertising. So you should listen to them, Gemini, and if ever there was a time when 2 heads are better than 1, it's right now. So if somebody very nice and very experienced, in other words, they could be somebody that has a good legal background, for instance, if they are headed your way, I hope you listen to them, Gemini, because it would greatly benefit your future. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is a time when I think that you have to be very, very careful. And I wouldn't be surprised if somebody or something is pulling away from you a little bit, Cancer. And it is through no fault of your own. It's simply that it's sort of like the forces are pulling against you, and that is because there are so many planets, 6 of them, in cardinal signs squaring and opposing each other, and yours is a cardinal sign. And so you have the sun in Libra squaring your sun. You have the full moon today and Mars in Aries squaring your sun. And you have Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in Capricorn opposing your sun sign. Jupiter and Saturn are direct, and Pluto will be direct on Monday. And so if you are not aware of some big change, a corporate change or a huge budget change or something, or staffing change coming your way, it will, Cancer. And when that happens, that will affect you. And it isn't necessarily that you have done anything to deserve it. It's simply that people are deciding to pull away, even from a popular beginning, because it has lost ground and it can't make it up. And for that reason, they're willing to overlook a few other things and forge a new path toward prosperity and security. And they could do that by reforming a group, or changing the rules, or cutting budgets in some way, and that will affect you, Cancer. So if I were you, I would just sort of stay home and wait and see what happens right now. It is a time under a full moon of indecision or confusion. So this isn't necessarily a good time for you to do anything. And I think you would be able to absorb some disappointing news if you just were at home with your loved ones. So why don't you give that a try? Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is a time when you can certainly be very popular because Venus is in your sign. It's at 28 degrees, and it is trining that Mars at 25 degrees in Aries, and the full moon today in Aries. So you can be very drawn to people who have a rather strident viewpoint about wanting to start something new. And they may have already done it, but the problem is they've overdone it. And that is why you need to step away, Leo. And that is because their opportunity to regain ground could involve more aggressive behavior. You would not necessarily condemn them for that at all, but if you get caught up in something that is going forward right now that could result in a nasty legal problem or higher expenses, you would greatly regret that, Leo. And you need to sort of stay home and mind your own business right now. And the reason why is that Uranus in Taurus is squaring Venus in your sign. And these are the 2 love planets. You actually need to guard your assets right now, because the value of them, that could be money in a savings account, it could be stocks that you own, or home property that you own. The value of assets could go up and down quite suddenly, and you need to just sort of stabilize yourself right now. So although you're very popular and you could sure be in the mood for love and having a good time right now, Leo, just make sure that you're not around anybody who's deciding that more is the answer right now, because they could draw you into conditions that would really drain your bank account. And that's why you need to stay away from them. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time when I think that with that full moon in Aries, which is 150 degrees away from your sun or in conjunct, that there can be a lot of change going on. And the change involves people who are very solid people that have money and a lot of experience and want a more prosperous world and are generally pretty good at business matters. Those people are pulling away right now from something that is a popular new beginning that has lost ground and it cannot recover from that. And so if I were you, Virgo, I'd sort of be like a little reporter and take notes if you want. Certainly observe everything else that is going on, but keep your mind on business and on your health, Virgo. That's as far as you need to go right now. And the reason why is that Uranus and Taurus is trining your sun, and Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in Capricorn are also trining your sun, and Pluto will be direct on Monday. And so this is a time when your career is about to heat up, Virgo. Your career, even if it's just one slow step at a time, is going to start really going in the right direction, or something that you have planned on, such as your investments or your retirement plans. Those are going to be going forward from now clear until the middle of December, when Jupiter and Saturn leave Capricorn. So that's what you need to keep your mind on, business, Virgo, and the bottom line. And I wouldn't advertise. I think you're going to be successful, very successful this fall, but I'd be real quiet about that if I were you, Virgo. Just sort of quietly go about your own business, and you can observe other people's business, but do not partake of it. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Libra. This is a time when, with the sun in your sign, you can sort of feel like $1 million, and you can want to look like $1 million. And Venus in Leo is sextiling your sun, which is just great. So you could be popular, Libra, and you could be deciding that, you'd rather make peace with people. But that full moon in Aries, along with Mars, is opposing your sun sign, and Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter in Capricorn are squaring your sun sign. There is a business matter or some sort of issue with a government policy that can be quite challenging to you right now, Libra. And I don't think you can do anything about it, but you may not like it either. But, it might be a little beyond your ability to fix as well. So you might have to suffer through something right now. But what you really need to worry about is that full moon, along with Mars in Aries, is headed straight toward a clash with the sun in your sign. That means you can be very attractive to people who want to be more aggressive right now, and they could draw you into a legal battle, or they could ask for your opinion, and you shouldn't even give them your opinion, Libra. This is a time when you need to stay out of fights, or you need to stay away from people who have got a grudge or who have a certain attitude, and they don't mind pushing it on others, because your sign rules peace, Libra. And no matter how good you feel or how good you look, you need to pick your partners carefully, and they need to share your temperament. You do not need to share theirs, particularly if they're too aggressive. That would hurt you, actually. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Scorpio. This is a time when I think there can be so much indecision and confusion going around because of the 6 planets that are in a harsh T-cross among cardinal signs, that you might be thinking to yourself, well, when is justice going to be done? Justice is ruled by your sign. And all I can tell you is that the answer is soon. And the reason why is that throughout the summer, there were a lot of retrograde planets, 5, even 6 retrograde planets at times. But now there's only 3. And they're all in the same place in everybody's chart. Neptune is retrograde in Pisces, Mars is retrograde in Aries, and Uranus is retrograde in Taurus. That Uranus is opposing your sun sign. There can be some sort of a financial problem that suddenly rears its ugly head right when you least expect it. And so what you've got to do, Scorpio, is sort of keep calm and trying to proceed in a very measured, almost slow way of doing things. And the reason why is that would help you attract people who are very experienced and can help you out with your problems. Remember, if you're a small company or somebody who's just starting out, you could merge or join forces with other people who have a lot of experience, because all 3 planets in Capricorn are sextiling your sun. You need to take on others right now, or you need to seek advice from others, Scorpio. So don't be the Lone Ranger right now. You really need to sort of fit in with others if you can. And that is because there's safety in numbers. So I hope you give that a try. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Sagittarius. There are 3 planets in the fire signs. Lucky you. That means that the full moon and Mars in Aries are trining your sun, and so is Venus in Leo. Venus in Leo, it means romance. Leo is a romantic sign. It rules love affairs, but Venus is the planet of love. So you could be very popular right now, Sagittarius, and you certainly could be in the mood for love, and you could be attracting some very nice people. That's the influence of Venus in Leo. You could also be attracting some very aggressive people that are angry or that want to, don't mind taking a risk, and they want to move forward in a risky manner. Those are the ones you need to stay away from, Sagittarius. They are really going to cause problems for you if you get around them. So this is a really good time for you to sort of quietly step back or pull away from some sort of new beginning that has lost ground and cannot recover it, and just realize that it's not the same old world anymore, and instead you should stick around other people who are much more loving and kind and thoughtful. That would be a little bit more your speed and make you happy. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time when you can just be right on the verge of success. And the reason why is because Jupiter is direct in your sign. Pluto is still retrograde, but it'll go direct on Monday, and then Saturn is now direct in your sign as well, and Uranus and Taurus is trining all 3. Remember, the strength is in the earth signs because there are 4 planets in the earth signs. But the good news is, Capricorn, that Venus is soon going to go into Virgo. It'll be there by next week, and it too will be trining your sun. That's when you make your move, Capricorn. You don't need to be afraid of anything. I wouldn't be too cautious next week. Instead, if you have a plan that is important to you, you need to go get advice from very experienced people. And I'd make my appointment for next week if I were you, Capricorn, because I think they would love to see you, and they would give you really good advice. And that will help your long-term plans grow as well. So you really do sort of have to get out among them by next week. And you won't be sorry about that. That will work out well. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is a time when I think that you just have your eye on things that are going on around you, but that you can be almost in a state of flux or some sort of almost a bubble right now, and not knowing which direction you're going to quite end up at. And the reason why is that Venus is in Leo and it's opposing your sun sign. So no matter what you want to do, Aquarius, it's going to cost you something as far as your relationships go. And that's the way growth is. When we're growing in our business or we're growing in our goals, then relationships have to adjust a little bit, so they'll have to do that. But you could also be very attractive to a partner right now. The sun in Libra is trining your sun, Aquarius. And so I think that you should sort of sit and wait very, very patiently for a new partner or some sort of legal decision to work its way toward you, Aquarius, because it's going to do that, and it's going to work out just fine. But that's why you could be in a bubble right now and not quite know which direction to go in, but that's okay. Just try to sort of keep yourself busy at home if you can until other people sort of make their intentions known, particularly very experienced people with good legal advice or very nice partners which are headed your way. There could even be some sort of legal decision or treaty or truce headed your way that would be exactly agreeable to you and really affect your future very beneficially. So just be patient for right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time with Neptune retrograde in your sign when, of course, you've got to go back and sort of rethink things a little bit, because could be a lot of tension right around you right now. And I'm not saying that you caused it at all, Pisces, but Mars and the full moon in Aries are right ahead of your sun sign today. And they are being very harshly challenged. And so I would say that somewhere in your life right now, there is a lot of conflict or tension among other people in their relationships. And if I were you, Pisces, I would sort of shrink up and go out the back door right now and do not take sides in an argument, because you know, you could end up being somebody else's punching bag right now. And that's what you need to stay away from. Pisces has a gentle nature. And so this is a time when even if you are only by yourself, Pisces, you would be in good company and you wouldn't get hurt. So this might be a good week for you to stay home and just pay attention to what your needs are and let the rest of the world do what it wants. Remember, there are people that are not afraid to take risks. In fact, they enjoy that. You need to stay away from those people because you could get hurt very easily, Pisces. So you need to be careful. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show and read the blog on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.